Hello Year 10s. This week we're going to be moving on to solving equations. So today we're going to look at solving 1 and 2 step equations, which you're probably already really good at doing. Solving equations with brackets, which most people are still quite good at. And then solving equations with fractions, which everybody seems to just ignore when it comes to an exam. So we'll probably focus on that quite a bit. All right, let's get started. Alright, so these questions here are fairly straightforward. They just want us to solve. These are all one-step equation. There's only one thing that we have to do to all of them. You don't even have to show you're working out on these, but I will in case you want to see what's going on. So the first question is x minus 2 is equal to 9. We want to find out what is the value of x to make this true. So what we often talk about in class is we want to get rid of the minus 2 by adding 2 to both sides, and so then we can do that, and x is equal to 9 plus 2, which is 11. Now you can do the 9 add 2 in your head and you don't actually have to write that down. That's also fine. Question B, 5 plus x is equal to 2. This is the kind of question that's really simple, but people like to make up their own rules. So we want to get the x by itself, so we're going to have to subtract 5 from both sides. And the reason why it's subtract 5 is because this 5 right here is a positive 5 because there's an invisible plus sign right there. So when we subtract 5, we end up with, well, this is really important. The 2 is first, so we have to make sure that we do 2 take away 5, and that gives us minus 3. All right, the next one, question C, it says 4x is equal to 12. 4x is just an algebraic way of writing 4 times by x. So we're going to divide both sides by 4, and we get x is 3. On the last question, it says x over 3 is equal to minus 2. X over 3 is the same as x divided by 3. So we're going to times both sides by 3. So we end up with x is minus 6. So those are one-step equations. Hopefully that's reminded you how to do them. I did think that everybody could already do those. All right, let's look at some two-step equations. All right, so same idea, just two things we have to do this time. So we want to solve 2x minus 1 is equal to 5. So I'm going to start by adding 1 to both sides so that I can get the 2x by itself. So I have 2x is equal to 6, and now this is just a one-step equation, and I can divide both sides by 2, and I'm left with x is equal to 3. All right, the next one is the same idea, it's just got some negatives because nobody seems to like those. So we want to get rid of the 5, it's a plus 5 here, so we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So minus 4x is equal to minus 9, take 5 more away, is minus 14. And then when we divide, we have to divide by minus 4. So we can get the x all by itself and divide by minus 4. We end up with x is equal to, I'm going to write this as a fraction. So I could write this as 14 over 4. That would be an acceptable answer. I could also simplify this to give me 7 over 2, or very nicely 3.5. Now, something to note when you're solving equations, please note that the equal signs, there's only ever one equal sign per line, and I always have the letters on one side, so the x's are all down one side, and then I have numbers on the other. Okay, so this right here, this box around here, this would be the only time I would like to see two equal signs together, and that's because 14 over 4 is the same as 7 over 2. Now, I'm really particular about solving equations, but obviously I can't see what you're writing down, so I'm going to have to trust you on this one. All right, let's make these more complicated. So even though these questions are technically more complicated than the two-step questions with negatives, everybody seems to be really good at these and not so great at the other ones. But we'll give them a go. So this time we're solving for y. So we're going to start by expanding the brackets. And we've got 8 plus 16y is equal to 72. A lot of people seem to get freaked out when they see the letter in the middle of everything. Don't worry. Just don't even worry about that. So it's going to subtract 8 from both sides. 16y is equal to 66. And then we're going to go ahead and divide that. So divide both sides by 16. And y is equal to, I don't actually have my calculator with me, so I'm just going to write it as a fraction. 66 over 16 is 33 over 8. And that is the best that I can do as a fraction. I can write it as a mixed number. 8 goes into 33 4 times with 1 left over out of 8, which I can now say is 4.125. There we go. That's how much y is. Y is 4.125. All right, let's try the next one. So we start with 4 bracket 1 minus y is equal to 16. So expand those brackets. Okay, we want to get rid of this 4, so we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. Now, we're just getting rid of these two things right here. And when we do that, we're left with minus 4y. So please be careful that the sign that's in front of the number belongs to the number. And then 16 take away 4 is 12. And then we can go ahead and divide both sides by minus 4. And y is equal to minus 3. And there we go, we're done. We'll look at one question about fractions now, and then that's it. It's actually 2 examples about fractions, but I think they're really important. So let's try this out. So we've got x divided by 5 plus 7 is equal to 9. So we're going to start by subtracting 7 because we want to get the x divided by 5 by itself. So x divided by 5 is equal to 2. 9 take away 7 is 2. And then we can times both sides by 5. And x is equal to 10. There we go. Let's try another one. The next one's complicated because it has a negative in it. So this negative lives with the x divided by 3. This is a positive 10 that's left over here. So in order for us to get rid of that, we have to do subtract 10 and subtract 10 on the other side. So we're left with negative x divided by 3, which is equal to 8 take away 10, which is minus 2. So in order for us to get rid of the minus 3, we're going to times this side by minus 3 and this side by minus 3. And when we do that, we are left with x is equal to 6. Okay, now I promise next time, last slide for sure. We've got one more slide to go, and then that's going to be it for fractions. All right, absolute last example, solve x plus 1 divided by 2 is equal to 20. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get rid of this divided by 2. So we're going to go ahead and multiply both sides by 2. So if we multiply the left-hand side by 2, this 2 and this 2 are actually going to cancel each other out, so we don't have to worry about that. And on the other side, we've got 20 times by 2, which is 40. So we've got x plus 1 is equal to 40. And then we can go ahead and subtract 1 from both sides. And we're left with x is equal to 39. Okay, don't panic when you've got fractions. Just get rid of the fractions by multiplying. All right, so you're going to go ahead and have a go at the tasks and then let me know if you have any questions. All right.